Welcome to the sound of suspense, to the fear you can hear. A psychiatrist once said that the human brain is like a spider's web. Together all the strands are strong, but taken one by one, each can easily be broken and the web destroyed. There are countless cases of human brains broken and smashed in just this way, step by step, strand by strand. And I can't help wondering, is this what happened to young Jennifer Brady?
Please, officer, I'm not out of my mind.
I didn't say you were.
No, but everybody else does, and I'm not. I'm not.
I don't mean you're off crazy because you had a bad dream.
It was no dream. It happened. I tell you, it happened.
No, ma'am, it didn't. You see, it couldn't have. A thing like that to happen. Impossible. Our mystery drama, Honeymoon with Death, was written especially for the Radio Mystery Theater by George Lothar and stars Lois Nettleton. It is sponsored in part by Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, Brewers of Budweiser, and by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Jennifer Brady thinks she's going out of her mind. What strange thing happened that couldn't have happened? Perhaps we can find out together.
It was a wonderful honeymoon, Howard. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed it. Adored it. But you know something? Howard, you know something?
What, Jennifer, what?
It's wonderful to be back home. These last 10 days driving back from San Francisco, I kept thinking, when, oh, when will I be back in my own bedroom, in my own bed, in my own little old New York brownstone house? Oh, I shouldn't have said that, should I?
What? Said what, Jennifer?
Am I bothering you with all my chatter, Howard?
Bothering me? How could you possibly bother me, sweetheart? I'm just trying to catch up with all that mail Margaret left on the living room table. Oh, hey, I haven't seen that negligee before.
I saved it for a homecoming night. Like? I can see a whole month of honeymooning hasn't changed you a bit.
When I've got a bride as beautiful and sexy as you, our whole life is going to be a honeymoon. Now, tell me, what was it you shouldn't have said?
What? Oh, I've forgotten.
Something about your own little old New York brownstone house.
Oh, well, what I meant, it's not just mine anymore. It's yours now, too.
And your sister Maggie's. You both inherited this old brownstone from your father. Though I must say I think that we, have the better of the bargain.
What do you mean?
I much prefer this top floor apartment, don't you?
Oh, yes. Luckily, Maggie always preferred the downstairs part. No climbing stairs.
The stairs won't bother me. I'll take them 2, 3 at a time, knowing that you're waiting at the top of them.
Oh, darling.
Well, you better finish brushing your hair. I'll finish that mail in the living room.
Howard?
Yes?
About the car.
Well, what about it?
Do you think it's safe parked out in the street?
One night won't hurt.
I'd feel awful if anything happened to us. You know, sometimes on a honeymoon trip, I couldn't help wondering which you loved more, your new car or me. Oh, well, I guess one night in the street is safe enough. You can find a garage tomorrow. Howard, you locked the car. You have the keys, haven't you? Howard? Howard, can't you hear me? I asked you. Maggie!
Here, now, come on. I'll phone Dr. Sullivan.
I don't need Dr. Sullivan. I tell you, Howard. Howard.
All right, now. The neighbors haven't heard it. Now, look, Jen. You sit here on the couch and try to hold on. I'll phone Dr. Sullivan.
Maggie. Howard is dead. He's up there in our apartment. Dead.
Jennifer, please, now try to control yourself. There's no one named Howard here.
What do you mean? No one named Howard. You know Howard Lansing, my husband, the man I've been on a honeymoon with for a whole month and home just a few hours ago. Stop looking at me like that.
All right. Now, look, Jennifer, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll go upstairs, and I'll see if anybody's there.
Howard's there.
All right. If this Howard is there, and if he's dead, then I'll phone the police. All right?
Yes.
But if he isn't, then I'm going to phone Dr. Sullivan, have him come right over. Now, that agreed?
What's that?
It's just the front door of the house. Oh, yes, officer?
Officer Helmet, ma'am. Ed Helmet. Anything wrong?
No.
What do you mean, no? My husband's been murdered. He's upstairs dead, a knife in his chest.
Jennifer, please. Officer, there is no one upstairs, dead or alive.
Well, then what was all the screaming about? I'm walking the beat just up at the corner, and I hear all this screaming.
It's nothing. Believe me, it's nothing.
Officer, will you do me a favor?
Oh, sure, if I can.
Would you go upstairs, please, and see for yourself?
Officer, my sister is a highly emotional woman.
Please? Would you please?
Sure. Make you feel any better? Sure.
Oh, Jen, what am I going to do with you? You know what Dr. Sullivan said.
Dr.
He
Sullivan?
said if you had another one of these attacks, you were going to have to be...
I am not having an attack. I am as sane as you are. Don't look at me like that, Maggie. I am. Well, officer.
Well, there's nobody up there, ma'am.
Nobody. But there is somebody. My husband, Howard. He's sitting in a chair with a knife in his chest, blood all over.
No, ma'am.
But that's impossible. Impossible, I tell you. It's impossible. I couldn't.
Maybe you want to see for yourself, huh? I'll go up with you.
Officer, thank you very much, but there's no need.
I do want to see for myself, will you?
Sure.
I'll come with you. Well, no, on second thought, what's the use? I mean, I'm really very tired of this sort of thing.
What sort of thing?
Never mind, officer. Just, you go ahead.
Now, is this the room where you, thought that, huh?
I can't believe it. It's impossible.
You can see for yourself.
5 minutes ago. 5 minutes ago, I tell you. In this chair. He was sitting back in this chair, and there was a knife sticking out of his chest. The mail was scattered all over the floor.
Mail?
We'd just come back from our honeymoon. We'd only been in the house a few hours, and Maggie had left all the mail that had collected for a month on the table, on this table.
Well, you can see, ma'am, no mail.
And blood. There was blood on the carpet, some of the mail.
Well, no mail, no blood. You don't mind me saying so. I think you... Well, maybe you had a dream, a nightmare, huh?
Please. I'm not out of my mind.
I didn't say you were.
No, but everybody else does, and I'm not. I'm not.
It don't mean you're out of your mind because you had a bad dream.
It was no dream. It happened. I tell you, it happened. Howard was here in the living room reading the mail. I was talking to him from the bedroom. I had just taken a bath, and I was brushing my hair. Wait. I know. I hadn't emptied the tub. The water's still there. It must be. I'll show you. I don't understand it.
Tub's bone dry, ma'am. Hasn't been used. Now, not tonight, anyway.
His clothes. Howard's clothes. He'd empty his suitcases and put his clothes in the closet. Here's his suitcases, too.
just ladies' clothes. Yours, ma'am?
Yes.
Now, hey. Look, don't cry. Hey, look, this dream you had.
It was no dream.
Okay. So maybe you imagined...
I didn't imagine anything. Do you imagine a husband? Do you imagine a month-long honeymoon? Do you imagine a man in a chair with a knife in his chest?
Oh, I got to admit, you'd have to have a darn strong imagination. But they tell me that's what artists got.
Artist?
Oh, you are an artist, aren't you? That painting there on the easel?
Oh, that's just a hobby. I haven't touched that since I left for my honeymoon.
No?
What do you mean?
How long does it take paint to dry?
Oh, a day, thereabouts.
Oh, this paint's still wet. Plenty wet. Look at my finger. Oh, now don't start crying again. A woman crying, it makes me feel awful.
I'm sorry.
Look, when you dreamed it or imagined it...
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Oh, yeah, well...
I know I've had spells.
Spells? What kind of spells?
Oh, I've always been high-strung, nervous, you know.
Well, I don't know if I know. I mean, me, well, I'm the other way. I haven't got a nerve in my whole body.
I envy you. You've never been to a psychiatrist.
A shrink? No, me. You ask me, anybody who goes to a shrink ought to have his head examined. That's a joke. You get it?
Yes.
Well, then laugh a little bit. Come on, do you good.
I can't.
No, of course you can't. I'm sorry. I should have known better than to even try and make a joke. You go to a psychiatrist, huh?
Yes. Not regularly. Sometimes.
What time?
Oh, when I sort of get all keyed up and start having crying spells and feeling so sad I could die.
Well, what's to feel sad about? Chick like, excuse me, a pretty girl like you with everything in life to live for. What's to be sad?
I don't know. Some people feel sad for no reason at all. They just suffer from depression.
Oh, excuse me?
Oh, yes, ma'am?
Jennifer, Dr. Sullivan is on his way over. I just phoned him.
All right.
And, officer, thank you very much for trying to help.
Oh, not at all, ma'am. Not at all. Glad to do what I could.
I'll show you out.
Oh, that's okay.
No. Sorry, I'll come with you. I'll be just a minute, Jen. Officer, I wanted to ask you, you don't have to say anything about this, do you? I mean, put it in your report or anything?
Oh, no. There's been no damage or anything like that. Does she get this way often, your sister?
Well, often enough. She hallucinates, you see.
Huh? Come again?
Hallucinate? It means, well, just what you saw. She was totally convinced there was a murdered man up there. Her husband, no less. Well, you saw for yourself. Husband. Jennifer's never even had a boyfriend.
A cute doll? A pretty girl like that?
Well, it's all part of her condition. She's afraid of people. Men, especially. I wish she could become less afraid, more outgoing. If these spells of hers get any worse, she may lose her mind altogether.
Oh, say, I hope not. A sweet kid like that, I sure hope not.
I know, so do I. Well, looks like we've had a little shower. Street's wet.
It was drizzling a little when I came in. Well, good night, ma'am, and if you need...
Wait! The car!
The car? What car?
Howard's. The little red sports car he was so fond of. It isn't there. But it was. I know it was.
Officer, thanks again, and good night.
Good night, ladies.
Jen, dear, until Dr. Sullivan gets here, I think you should lie down and rest.
I don't want to lie down.
Well, then just stretch out on the couch, and I'll make some tea for us. Oh, it's probably Dr. Sullivan now. Oh. Yes?
Excuse me, ma'am. I just wanted to get something straight.
Yes.
Your sister, did she say... Oh, ma'am.
Yes, officer.
Did you say that car was a little sports car?
Yes. Why?
Well, nothing, only there was one parked out there in the street.
What do you mean?
Well, we've had a shower, see, and I happened to notice the street's dry in one spot. There must have been a car standing there while it was raining. A small car.
Officer, please don't make things worse for me or for my sister. I mean, there's nothing unusual about a car being parked in the street.
No, only...
Good night, officer.
Funny, though. Funny.
What exactly is it that strikes Officer Helmut as funny? Perhaps we'll know when I return shortly with Act 2. Has a horrible murder been done? Or is Jennifer Brady losing her mind? Did she find the body of her husband, Howard Lansing, seated in the living room with a knife in his chest? Or did she imagine the frightful scene? Is she married? Was there a honeymoon? Oh, here's young patrolman Ed Helmut at the front door of the brownstone house where Jennifer and her sister Maggie live. And it's the following morning.
Oh, it's you.
Yeah.
Well, won't you come in?
Thanks.
Thank you for, what you did last night.
Oh, just doing my job, Mrs. I don't know what to call you.
I don't know what to call myself. I don't know if I'm Mrs. Howard Lansing or Miss Jennifer Brady. Not after last night.
Well, suppose I just call you Jennifer. You can call me Ed. Ed Helmut.
What are you doing here?
Well, I'm off duty, see. I'm on the 4 to midnight beat, and I just thought I'd drop around and see how you were doing.
Oh, well, I'm all right.
You mind if I ask you a couple of questions, Jennifer?
No. It's your job, isn't it?
Well, yes and no. In fact, being off duty now, I'm kind of asking these questions on my own. You know what I mean?
I don't. Not really.
Well, I tell you, that car of your husband's...
If I didn't just imagine a husband.
Yeah, well, if you didn't, that car of his, that little red sports car you mentioned, well, there was a car parked out front last night, and it was a little sports car.
If it wasn't there when you left...
Well, the space it left. It rained, remember, while the car was standing at the curb?
Oh, yes.
So at least you were right about there being a car. I mean, you didn't dream that up.
It could have been anyone's car, as Maggie said.
Oh, that's for sure. Still, though, it could have been a car belonging to a guy named Howard Lansing. Couldn't it?
Why are you doing this?
Come again?
Well, you know that I'm not well. That all my life I've had nervous problems. Oh, I can't believe it, but I must have dreamed it all up. Howard Lansing, marrying him, going on a honeymoon across country and back, coming home last night, finding him murdered. I must have imagined it all. Maggie says I did. Dr. Sullivan says I did. So why are you...
You know something? I don't know. Maybe it's because, well,
what?
I kind of like you, and, me, I didn't get much sleep either last night, thinking about this whole thing, thinking about you, and, I'm kind of wishing I could straighten things out for you.
That's very sweet of you, officer. But...
Call me Ed.
Ed? It's sweet of you. But you're wasting your time. I'm mentally...
Oh, come on now. Don't cry. You had a bad dream, that's all. A nightmare.
Oh, it was more than that. Much more than that. When you dream something, you wake up and you know it was a dream. I'm still living it. I remember the ceremony. The hotels we stayed at. The things we did. Even Howard constantly fussing with his new car.
Yeah, there's that car again. What do you mean, fussing with it?
Oh, just that he was always polishing it, checking this and that. Fussing, that's all.
And you remember all about the ceremony and the hotels and like that?
It's all as vivid as if it had actually happened.
Tell me about the wedding. Who married you?
Nobody married me, Ed. I imagined...
Okay. So where did you imagine you got married?
A little town in Jersey. By a justice of the peace.
What little town? What JP?
I don't know. It was night, and we just pulled off the Garden State Parkway. Howard had said he knew a place, a justice of the peace.
Okay. What about hotels?
Well, I remember we stayed at the Ambassador in Chicago and the Statler in St. Louis, the Beverly in Los Angeles, and... Oh, that you, Maggie?
Yes, Jen. Any calls? Oh.
Hello, Miss Brady.
Aren't you the policeman who was here last night?
Yeah, that's right. You're wondering what I'm doing here now, huh?
Well, yes, I am.
I just dropped in to see how Jen was doing, that's all.
Jen?
Excuse me, Miss Brady. I was never much for being formal.
Yes, obviously. Have you been here long?
No, 10 minutes or so.
Well, I don't mean to hurry you, officer, but Jennifer and I have an appointment in 1 hour with her psychiatrist, Dr. Sullivan.
Say, would that be Dr. Martin Sullivan on Park Avenue?
No, Dr. Arnold Sullivan on East 82nd.
Oh.
You seem terribly interested in Jennifer's psychiatrist.
Me? Oh, no. I just ask a lot of questions. I trained myself.
You trained yourself?
You're going to laugh. I know you're going to laugh, but would you believe I want to be a detective someday?
Of course I believe it. Why shouldn't I?
Ask my sergeant. He thinks I'm something else wanting to be a detective. Laughs himself silly.
Well, I certainly wouldn't laugh. I think it's commendable.
You think I could make a detective?
Of course you could.
Well, say, that's a real shot in the arm. I mean, someone like you thinking that someone like me, just a cop and new on the force.
As I said, officer, I don't like to hurry you, but...
I'm going, Miss Brady. Going right now. Nice seeing you again, Jen.
I'll show you out.
Oh, that's okay. Some detective I'd make if I couldn't find the front door. Why,
Jennifer, would you answer that, please?
Of course. Oh, my God.
Jennifer, what is it?
Help me. Oh, my God, Maggie. Ed, help me.
What?
He's there. At the front door, he's there. Howard.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is something... What's all the trouble?
You're dead. Murdered.
What?
Last night after we got home from our honeymoon, I found you in your chair, stabbed to death.
Last night, honey, stabbed. Maggie, what is this?
Jen's having another one of her spells, Howard, that's all.
Oh, I see.
What do you mean, you see? You see what?
What, just... Excuse me, who are you?
My name is Ed Helmut, Officer Ed Helmut. I'm a cop.
A cop?
Howard, I'll explain later what went on here last night.
I don't understand this. I don't understand it. You're talking to Howard as if nothing had happened.
Jennifer, nothing did.
He exists. He's standing right here. He exists. And last night you acted as if you'd never heard of him. As if there was no such person as Howard Lansing.
I don't remember.
You did.
Jennifer, stop it. Now, stop it. Control yourself. Officer, you were leaving.
There's some questions I'd better get the answers to
Officer,
first.
this is a private matter. It's a family affair.
Well, now that depends on how you look at it. Are you Howard Lansing?
Of course I'm Howard Lansing. Why do you ask such a question?
Howard, Jen had one of her mental lapses last night. She imagined that you and she were married.
We were.
And that you'd just come back from your honeymoon.
Oh, good Lord.
And then during this hallucination, she thought she had found you with a knife in your chest. dead.
Oh, no, poor little Jenny.
She ran screaming into the street. Luckily, I got her back into the house before she caused a disturbance, although this officer did hear the screams and came to investigate.
Well, did you call Dr. Sullivan?
Of course I did. He came over, but there wasn't much he could do except order some new sleeping pills. We're seeing him in his office at 11 this morning.
Just one more question, Mr. Lansing.
Yes?
Just where do you fit in here? I mean, who are you? To the family, I mean.
I'm Miss Brady's fiancée, Margaret, not Jennifer.
Oh. I see.
No, I'm afraid you don't see. Not all of it. Look, since we've gone this far, you might as well know the rest of it. Jennifer has always had a thing for Howard. She's not jealous that he's going to marry me and not her. Don't think that. But the whole situation has been a severe strain on her, a very severe strain.
Almost certainly that's why her hallucination last night took the form that it did, thinking she'd been married to me and all the rest of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I'll be on my way. Hey, now, you take it easy, huh? And me, if it's okay with you, I'm going to be in touch. I'll see my way out. Hey, Mr. Lansing, you have got a little red sports car.
Well, yes, that's it, parked at the curb. Why?
Well, Jen, Miss Brady, she seemed to make a big thing out of it. On the honeymoon that didn't happen, I mean.
Big thing?
Well, what I mean, she said you were always fussing with it, polishing it and like that. Sure looks as if you do.
Well, I do. I'm a sports car buff, if you want to know.
I wish I could own a car like that. But on a cop salary, you had it long?
2 or 3 months.
Oh, like cross country.
Well, maybe someday I will, but so far I haven't had the interest.
Yeah. Well, see ya.
Bye. Where is she?
Upstairs, changing for appointment with Sullivan.
I don't know.
Oh, boy. If I had a car like that, I'd go for long trips, like cross country.
Well, maybe someday I will, but so far I haven't had the interest.
Yeah. Well, see ya.
Bye. Where is she?
Upstairs, changing for appointment with Sullivan.
I don't like this, Maggie.
You don't like it. You don't like it. All the stupid things walking in here when a cop was here.
If I know he was here. If it comes to that, why'd you let her run screaming into the street last night?
Howard, come to your senses. Was there any other way?
No, I guess there wasn't.
I'm afraid we're going to have to move faster than we planned.
Why?
That young cop's pretty nosy. Come over here to the window.
What?
Look, down there.
What the hell is he doing?
He's measuring the size of your car from front to back wheel.
What's he doing that for?
I don't know. He's doing it. I don't like it. No, Howard, we won't commit Jennifer now.
Well, if we don't commit her, what will we do with her?
Kill her.
Clearly, Maggie and Howard faked his murder. But how could they have managed it? And how will they kill Jennifer? We'll return shortly with Act 3. Were you as shocked as I to discover that Howard Lansing is very much alive? I can't fathom it. Can you? No more than, 10 minutes could have passed between the time Jennifer saw him slumped in that chair with a knife in his chest, blood all over everything, and the time Officer Helmut entered the room to find no body, no blood, nothing to indicate that a murder had taken place. It would have been impossible for Howard Lansing and Margaret Brady to restore perfect order to that room in so short a time. Even to Howard's clothes and luggage no longer in the closet. A bone-dry bathtub. And the rest of it got me puzzled. Well, we'll soon have the answer as we rejoin Maggie and Howard.
Kill her.
There's nothing else we can do.
Oh, we can do what we planned originally. Commit her.
It won't work. Not now.
Why not?
Your answer is right out there in the street. The cop was just finished measuring your car.
Now, what's he doing?
Quite obviously getting into your car.
I think I better get out there and see what he's up to.
I was just about to suggest it, Howard.
Officer, what are you doing in my car?
Oh, say, Mr. Lansing. Say, I hope you don't mind. Like I told you, I want to own a little sports car like this myself someday, and, well, I just couldn't help sitting behind the wheel. Say, I hope you don't mind.
As a matter of fact, I do mind.
Oh, well, say, please excuse me. I just kind of flip over a car like this, that's all.
Is that why you were measuring the wheelbase?
Measuring... Oh, that.
Yes, that. I saw you from the window.
Yeah, well, now, I tell you, I want to get to be a detective someday, see? And I'm studying, like, fingerprints and stains and like that, and measuring. Now, measuring things is important, very important. You'd be surprised how important measuring things is. So, I take every opportunity to measure things.
Yes. Well...
Like last night. Were you here last night?
No, I was not here last night.
Funny.
What's funny?
Well, last night, Jennifer, Miss Brady, she said a car, in fact, your car, was parked outside here. Only it wasn't. I mean, when we looked, no car.
Well, I just told you that...
Yeah, but there had been a car. You see, it had rained, and the car was standing out here during the rain and left a dry space in the street. And I measured that, too. Couldn't help myself. It's become a habit, you know?
Well, I fail to see what this has to do with
Identical. Same wheelbase. That car and this one.
Look, there are probably thousands of sports cars in New York.
I'm not saying it was the same car. Oh, no, nothing like that. I'm only saying the wheelbase was the same.
Very interesting, I'm sure. But if you don't mind now,
Just leaving when you came out. I apologize if I upset you getting in behind the wheel without permission.
That's all right.
Yeah. Well, goodbye. Oh, by the way...
Now what?
You got 11,243 and 9/10 miles on the speedometer. 1,000 or so more than you said you had. I just thought you'd like to know.
Thank you. I'm deeply grateful for that information. He is up to something, Maggie.
What else is new?
He checked the mileage on the car.
What of it?
Over 11,000 miles. I could easily have driven from here to L.A. and back, which I did.
Mileage shows only how far a car went, not where. I'm not worried about your car. I'm worried about him nosing around. The quicker we kill Jennifer, the better.
Now, look, I didn't bargain for anything like murder.
Neither did I, but that's the way it is.
How will you do it?
How will we do it? Sleeping pills. An overdose. That's the simplest.
When?
Oh, tonight. Why wait? Oh, Jennifer. Oh, ready for our appointment with Dr. Sullivan, I see. Yes. I'll just get my coat. Howard?
Yes, Jennifer.
I'm sorry if I've caused you any trouble.
Oh, now.
I'm losing my mind, Howard. I must be. Marrying you, our honeymoon trip across the country, returning last night, finding you dead. It was all so real. So real. And yet it wasn't. It never happened. Howard, I just can't go on like this much longer.
You won't, Jennifer. Believe me, you won't.
You sure of that? Did you check all marriage license applications? And there's no Howard Lansing and Jennifer Brady, huh?
I'll be you at Beverly Hotel, Los Angeles.
Right there. Okay, sorry I troubled you. Thanks. Hello? Yeah. Yeah, how far back did you check your guest register? And there's no Mr. and Mrs. Howard Lansing.
Hey, Ed, another one. The ambassador of Chicago. You going on a trip or something, man?
Thanks. Officer Ed Helmut here. Yeah, I think I can tell you what you're going to tell me before you tell me. No record of a Mr. and Mrs. Howard Lansing. Yeah. Well, thanks. There's got to be a clue. There's got to be.
proof did you give her?
Enough. What's the matter, Howard? Why that look on your face?
I'm a murderer. I'm just beginning to realize it. I am a murderer.
Not yet, Howard. She won't be dead for a while.
How can you be so calm? You frighten me, Maggie. I've never seen this side of you before.
You've got to be kidding. All the time we spent planning this.
To commit her, not murder her.
What's the difference? We're not doing all this for peanuts, you know. We inherited $1.5 million from my father, Jennifer and I. You and I will have all of it once she... Who could that be?
I'll see.
Wait. No, I guess we can't pretend no one's at home. The lights are all on.
And my car's parked out front. Oh, it's you.
Okay if I come in, Mr. Lansing?
Oh, well, now,
Thanks.
Rotten night out there. Just plain rotten. It's Officer Helmet, Maggie.
Yes, so I see. Getting to be a regular visitor, aren't you?
To be honest with you, Miss Brady, it's a real nasty night, and walking a beat, I didn't think you'd mind if I came in for a few minutes. Also, I wanted to see how Jen's getting along.
Jen is getting along very well, if it's any concern of yours, which it is not.
Oh, well, I only...
Officer Helmet, circumstances beyond my control brought you into this house last night, but I do control whether you'll keep coming here like this. Please leave.
Oh, well, now, wait a minute, Miss Brady. I like your sister, and I have reason to think she likes me. Now, wait a second. Just wait a second. I also think she needs somebody like me, somebody to lean on, to protect her.
Oh,
And further than that, I'm here on official business.
Official business?
I'm placing you both under arrest on a charge of... Where is Jen?
That's no business of yours. What's all this about?
Where is she?
She is upstairs asleep, if you must know.
Asleep at 8 o'clock at night?
She took a couple of sleeping pills.
Where are you going? How dare you go up there?
Maggie,
You
my
had
God.
any nerve, don't lose it now.
But he'll know.
He'll know she took an overdose. That's all he will know.
He will know that we gave it to her. He's arresting us.
For what? On what charge? Whatever it is, he'll never make it stick. We've covered our tracks too well for the law to... He's carrying her down.
All right, baby. It's going to be all right. Operator, this is Officer Ed Helmet. I want an ambulance sent to 127 Brockhurst, and fast.
An ambulance? Why an ambulance?
An overdose of sleeping pills.
She took a...
She didn't take them, Buster. They were given to her, shoved down her throat, you ask me. I'm changing the charge against you two. I'm booking you for attempted murder.
You must be out of your mind. You're as crazy as my sister.
Who isn't crazy at all. That was a real far-out scene you two tried to pull. I gotta hand it to you two. You planned it so careful, so good. There wasn't a loophole in it, except one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't, huh? Then let me explain. You set the whole thing up, the two of you, the marriage, the honeymoon trip across country and back, the fake murder, and the whole bit. Oh, and you played it smart, very smart. Not a clue. I checked the marriage license bureau, no license. Easy enough, you could have bribed the clerk to destroy it.
Now, look,
I checked a few hotels. The big ones like the Ambassador, the Beverly in Los Angeles. No Mr. and Mrs. Howard Lansing listed. A piece of cake. When you registered, you gave a different name.
You're making yourself look like a fool. What you're saying is you could find no evidence.
Oh, but I did. One little clue that neither of you thought about. A car, Mr. Lansing. Your pretty little red sports car.
I don't follow.
You will. I told you I found that dry space out on the street last night because a car, a little sports car like yours, had been standing there during the rain.
Or it could have been anyone's car.
Sure. Same size as yours. Same wheelbase. But I agree, it could have been anyone's. Only it wasn't. It was yours. You want to know how I know?
We'd be enthralled.
I know because last night, that car wasn't parked outside this house, but the one next door. I got to wondering about that. I kept saying to myself, if it was his car, why did he park outside the house next door? I came up with the answer today when I entered that house. Nobody there. And found fake blood all over the upstairs room. A gag knife. The kind you attach so it looks like you're stabbed. Even your clothes. And your luggage in the closet. Mr. Lansing.
Oh, God.
So you see, if it hadn't been for your car, I'd never have realized that brownstone houses in a row like these are identical. You bought this place, or leased it while Jen and him were on their honeymoon, didn't you, Miss Brady? Last night, when Jen went screaming into the street, you deliberately let her run into the street so you could bring her back to the house next door. This house. In her state, wound up tight like she was, she never realized what you were doing, as you knew she wouldn't.
You'll have to prove these accusations.
I will. I can. With the one little clue that nails it all down at all four corners. The little red sports car again.
What about it?
Well, you told me you'd never driven across country.
I never have. If you're thinking of the mileage on the car, that proves nothing.
Well, not the mileage, Mr. Lansing. The servicing.
Servicing?
You had it serviced at the Beverly Hotel in Los Angeles. A lube job, oil change, new filter, the works. And like they do at all service stations, they slapped a little sticker on the door jamb. That little sticker that carries the name and address of the service station. That little sticker that practically nobody ever notices. Anyhow, you didn't. And it says, Beverly Hotel Service Station, Los Angeles, California. Date and all. Easy, Jen. Easy. You're going to be okay. From here on in, you're going to be just fine.
It must have been a costly business, buying or leasing that identical brownstone house and furnishing it exactly like the one next door. But then, Maggie had all the money in the world, or thought she did. I'll return shortly. Yes, like a spider's web, so strong and yet so weak, the human brain can be broken. But happily, again, like the spider's web, it can be repaired, as good as new. Our cast included Lois Nettleton, Tony Roberts, Terry Keane, and Norman Rose. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. All peoples have their separate legends, their superstitions, and their fears. Julius Caesar once said that all Gaul is divided into 3 parts. But whatever their political alignments, the Gallic people shared their legends in common, and none more persistent and accepted than the belief in the second sight. Usually called a gift, but one wonders if perhaps it is far more the reverse of that. Our mystery drama
The Unearthly Gift was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Betsy Palmer. Let's begin with two definitions of second sight. The unearthly capacity to see things impossible for ordinary people to see, or the ability to foretell events in the future from the shadows they cast before them. A talent bequeathed to a large, raw-boned, and rather plain girl called Ruth Ann Mitchell. She and her grandmother, Bridget Carney, are the only women at a lumber camp high in the Bitterfoot Range, which sprawls across Idaho, Washington, and half of British Columbia. Ruth and Granny cook and keep house for the lumberjacks.
And what can I say, Mamselle? And Granny, we feel very bad, especially Big Red. He was up there with Jason.
I told him 100 times to use the double rig, but he never wanted to listen.
Where is Jason?
He is in the wagon, Miss Ruth. We'll have to take him down the mountain to Rock Fall and the main office.
I want to see him.
No, I think that is not a good thing. He fell 500-600 feet into that ravine.
I want to see him. Let her, if she wants. Now, you'll hurry back?
Mm.
Yeah, just as soon as I'm sure Jason gets a burial be fitting him. You've got room to take me, Frenchie.
Mais oui. If you are sure you must.
It's what I owe him. Not enough, but all I can do. Oh, Granny, if I knew, why couldn't I have stopped it? How can you hold back the hand of God, child?
Espèce de diable. This is one bad road.
You want me to drive, Frenchie?
You, a woman.
Well, I know it like the back of my hand. My daddy was a straw boss at Greenwood's camps, and from the time I was 11, I grew up there.
And your father, when did he die?
Oh, in the big fire. When the South Slope burned up.
And your mother?
She died having me.
So you stay on with Granny. She is your only family?
Yes. All I have to love.
And Jason, too, you lost.
Oh, Jason. Jason was kind to me.
Why do you stay at the lonely camp like Greenwood with a bunch of roughnecks like us?
Where else would I go?
To the city, no, where perhaps you find a nice young man who...
Me? A plain, awkward country gal who stands head high or higher than most men and knows nothing but to just cook and to do the chores.
Jason did not think you were so plain. What did you mean about Jason when you said you might have stopped it?
Well, I had sort of a dream. I mean, hours before you came back to camp. Just when it might have happened. I thought, Frenchie, that I saw the whole thing just the way it happened.
My family was from Bretagne in France. We are also like the Irish, what you say, Gaelic.
Yeah.
There also is Le Vue de l'Ombre, what you say, the second sight. That is a gift you have.
I don't know, Frenchie. I just don't rightly know. I don't suppose I really ever want to know. Best we do. It's a rough trail, and I really prefer... Best we do. It's a rough trail, and I really prefer going it while it's still light.
This old Jeep handles real nice. You were right about the trail.
Maybe I should have let you drive.
Well, I knew you figured I shouldn't. It's kind of nice to be a woman and just to sit down. Besides, you handle the Jeep real good. Cyril, you couldn't be Irish.
Some generations back, mostly, though I'm just a roving lumberjack. Born in Montana, never been out of 7 northwestern states in the good old U.S. of A. I don't figure you for all of that Irish either.
Well, not so much on my father's side, but all the way down on my mother's. Oh, wait till you meet her mother, Granny Bridget. She cooks chow for all you jacks.
Good chow?
Best you've ever tasted.
And I'm in love with her already. Now, what do you do?
Well, I help her.
Well, now, there's something to consider. If Granny comes through as strong as you promise, I may be half in love with you already without knowing.
Now, that Tim Farrell you brought back here 3 weeks ago. He's a charmer.
Yeah, I think so, too.
But what, dear? Well, I don't know how to talk about it, Granny.
You see something in his future?
I don't want to talk about it yet.
Yet?
It just doesn't come clear. It's a full moon tonight. I reckon I'm just going to walk myself some more before I go to bed.
Is it Tim you're going to meet?
It's no one at all but my own thoughts. Or maybe just to be alone and remember Jason. Don't wait up for me, Granny.
I'll not close an eye till I know you're back home safe and sound.
Real pretty moon, ain't it, Ruth?
I suppose, Big Red.
I kind of hope you figure like I do that it ain't hung up there for nothing.
But don't look to me. I'm not your woman. Not now, or ever could be.
You'd still shuck me off even with Jason gone?
Or with Jason here. So you and me have nothing for each other. And don't you make no move to me, even with Jason not here to stand between us.
Big as you are, you think you could hold me off if I really had a mind to?
Look, I hope I don't have to try.
I don't guess you'll have to, Ruth Ann, as long as there are 3 of us.
Who asked you here, tenderfoot? Put out.
If I'm not wanted. Ruth Ann?
Let's just not make no fuss, all right? I'm on my way back to bed anyways. Good night.
Why don't you mind your own business, Farrell?
I was about to ask you the same question.
I'm warning you. You're new on this crew. Don't ask for any trouble.
I don't. Just the same, don't push any on me, brother. And lay off of Ruth Ann. She don't like you no more than I do.
She come down to whoop so bad, eh? That even.
No sight more beautiful, no sound nearer the heart.
When you start stripping here, Big Red and me, we cut out the next big tumble, huh?
Okay.
Hand me the big kettle. There's a love, Ruth. Ruth?
Oh, I'm sorry, Granny. I was thinking of Tim Farrell.
Oh, I thought maybe that walk under the moon last night might not be all by yourself. Did you meet him then?
Yeah. Good I did, too. Big Red was pestering me again, just like before Jason died.
You tell him he as much as lays a finger on you, and I'll put broken glass in his grits. Now, don't you let that blowhard bother you.
Well, it's not him that I'm worried about, Granny. It's Tim.
Why?
I'm trying to fight it. But I see it. There's death. The shadow of death over Tim's shoulder. And I'm somehow in the shadow, too. Oh, Granny, why do I have to see it? And then still know that I can't stop it?
Oh, now, Mavournin. Don't rack your heart with what can't be changed.
I told you before, Granny. I won't sit by if...
What is it, Colleen?
What are you staring at? I see him now. They've topped a tree, and Tim's stripping it. He's all alone in a... No! I've got to stop it. I've got to stop it. Dear Mary in heaven, watch over my lamb. Whatever the Lord has marked her for.
In silent supplication, an old woman prays for the one person she has left to love. A tortured girl with a terrible and unasked gift. What has that inner eye revealed to Ruth Ann as she races up the lumber trail to try to stop whatever threatens Tim Farrell? At the stand of trees, the lumberjack crew is thinning out. Frenchie and Chuck Turkle are on the big crosscut, finishing the high cut, while Big Red, having finished the notch, is now driving the wedges. Down the mountain, Tim is methodically stripping the branches from the topped tree, his back towards them. This is the picture Ruth Ann saw in her mind's eye, sees now in actuality as she struggles breathlessly up the slope.
Tim!
Ruth Ann, what is it?
Run! From the tree!
I'm not in its path!
Look back! Look back!
What? Ruth! Run to the side! Run to the side!
Mine! Don't run!
Oh, I sure would never want one closer than that. You are right, Ruth Ann.
You covered me with your body.
Well, you risked your life to try to save me. I can't figure why we're not playing pulp. That tree was headed straight for where I was standing. What made it turn aside just far enough to miss us?
The hand of God.
Miss Rose, Tim. How are you, Doc?
No, it's all right, Frenchie.
I don't know what happened. Wall path was set for 45 degrees off your line.
That no good tree.
Sure you ain't neither of you hurt?
I took a pretty good lick across the back from one of the branches.
No, don't move, Tim.
No, I can't keep lying on you.
I know Miss Ruth is right. Charlie has gone for the stretcher crew. Don't move till they are here.
Yeah, but I can't keep lying.
I don't mind, Tim. I don't want you to move.
You listen to a woman when she talk. If there is something and your back is broke, you move. You risk your life. Why take a chance?
Well, that was a powerful good bowl of soup, Ruth Ann.
I'm glad you liked it. Here, let me take the tray. How's your back today?
Oh, it's horrible. Now I know that there ain't nothing broke. I feel I better be getting back on my feet.
No, sir. You just stay right where you are till the doctor says that you can rise.
Ruth Ann, tell me something.
I can.
Where were you going when you come up the mountain that day?
Why do you ask?
I don't know. I had the feeling. I mean, they hadn't even yelled timber before you seemed to know that was a maverick tree, and it wouldn't fell right.
Well, maybe it was just intuition. I was born and bred in tree country and around camps, and I've got to get back down. Granny needs my help.
Ruth Ann?
Yeah?
I want to thank you for saving my life.
Well, if I had anything to do with it, I'm glad.
Maybe someday I can find a way to make up for it.
So it's taken you are with our boy upstairs, Tim. Well, he saved my life. I thought it was t'other way around. I mean, Well, the branch he took across the shoulders would have caught me right across my neck, Granny, and snapped it like a chicken.
He's a good lad. Are you in love with him?
Tim's not for me, Granny. Or any man.
Oh, now, Makushla, what makes you say the like of that?
You know, Granny, I don't want the gift, but I can't escape it. It's like a lead weight around my neck. Or around my heart. Did my mother have it?
Kathleen? Yes, she did.
And did she know about my father?
Not before she married him. Or she would never have married him. It never comes till we're well out of our teens.
But, Granny, did she know that he was to die so young?
She knew.
And about herself?
She knew that, too.
And knowing that I would kill her in childbirth, she still went ahead and had me?
Now, there's always the chance the good Lord will change his mind. Look at you and Tim.
Only he hasn't.
What?
Granny, I wish I could see it clearer. I stopped it once, but I don't know if I ever could again. Tim wears the shadow of violent death like a collar. And somehow I'm the one who's hanging it there. Oh, Granny. Granny, I don't know what to do.
Hey, Tim.
Hi, Jack.
How's it going?
Well, I reckon I'm about ready to come back and pull my weight. I'm getting tired of just chopping firewood.
Yeah, it's putting you back in shape, though.
I hope.
You sure are one lucky tree, Jack. When that big old tree kicked around and started to fall out of line, you was dead at its tracks. And then we seen Roseanne throw up her hands, and by Dad, if we both couldn't swear on a stack of Bibles, that old tree didn't just veer off to the left, so she just missed you.
I guess the wind caught her.
It must have been. Though I don't rightly remember any wind that day.
Chuck, I want to ask you if you remember something else about that day.
Well, sure, ask away.
You and Frenchie were making the saw cut. But Big Red cut the notch, and he was setting the wedges. Right?
Oh, yeah?
And that tree was lined up to fall due south?
Yes, sir, Tim. That was the line.
And you know I was working away on the east. 45 degrees pretty near out of the fall line.
Oh, yes, you were for sure, Tim.
Then how come she turned so out of line?
Well, now, sometimes you'll get a tree that has a real tough core or twister on you.
You or Frenchie ever had that happen to you before?
Well, no. Not as you'd say, but I've heard tell.
How about Big Red?
Well, you'd have to ask him.
Doesn't he go around bragging he can fell a tree on a dime and he ain't never missed?
Well, I have heard him say that, but...
Yeah, well, maybe I just will go ask him.
Look here, Tim. You better watch your step. You get him riled up. Big Red is bad medicine.
Hold it just a minute before you go inside, Chuck.
Oh, hi, Big Red.
What was you and Tim Farrell getting your heads so close together over up there by the woodpile?
Oh, we was just chatting.
I seen he was asking you a powerful lot of questions. I'd like to know them questions. And your answers.
Oh, Big Red, you're like to break my arm.
I might just do that if you don't loosen up.
Well, I don't want to make no trouble.
Any trouble I'll handle. You talk. Don't leave nothing out. I want every word.
Now, don't take on so, girl. You're in love with the boy. It's that, isn't it?
Yes, Granny. I am in love with Tim. But that's only a little part of it.
Now, don't be too sure. Is he in love with you?
Oh, Granny, how could he be? I'm a plain...
We won't go through that go-round again.
Granny, I'm trapped. First of all, I have the vision that all I bring Tim is danger. And second, well, if I want him to love me, how can I be sure that I'm not using the power to make him?
I brought you some fresh wood for the stove. Hey, did I break in on something?
Sure not at all, Tim. How are you feeling now?
Oh, I guess I'm about back to where I was, thanks to Ruth Ann.
You'll excuse me, Granny Bridget and Ruth Ann. But I got a little business here, can't we?
You get yourself out of my kitchen, Red Pilly, and all your riff-raff with you.
Not till something gets straightened out.
Well, speak up and go.
I'm talking to you, Farrell. And this time you ain't hiding behind any skirts. Chuck Turkle here tells me you're bad-mouthing me. Trying to say I dropped a tree across your back.
I hadn't faced you with it yet. I wanted to get some more proof. But so long as you fetch the issue, that's what I have in mind.
Glad you laid it on the table.
Now, Ed, why you do this? Why you trying
Shut
to...
up, Frenchy. I'll handle this. Mr. Farrell, I'm calling you out. Pick your weapon. Knives, axes, peavy poles are just bare hands. You and me's got a claim to settle.
A claim?
Well, let's just call it a plain falling out.
Don't pay him any heed.
You keep out of this, Ruth Ann.
Indeed, I won't. You're like a bunch of children, except that you're playing with lives.
Ruth Ann, maybe I want to be caught out.
I'll stand no nonsense like this in my kitchen. Near under 50 years I've served this camp, and I've never tolerated brawling in my kitchen. So you'll all take yourselves out of here before I... Hey, Granny.
Come on, hey, move back, you old kids. Give us some air.
Ruth Ann, is it her heart?
I don't know. I've never seen Granny sick before.
Frenchy, go bring the wagon. We're taking her to town and the nearest doctor.
You speak well. I bring the wagon to the door.
Granny? It's nothing. It's just a little fainting spell. Oh, darling. Maybe I'm getting too old for so much excitement. Where's Ruth? Oh, I'm right here beside you. Put your arms around me, Makushla.
All right, now the rest of you stand back. Don't crowd.
Move.
I'm still crowding you, Farrell.
Not now, Big Red. There's a time for everything. Yours and mine will come.
Name it.
When I take Ruth Ann and Granny Carney down the mountain and make sure Granny has proper care, I'll be back.
With Ruth Ann?
That's up to her. If I had my way...
You're coming back, Tim. I'm coming, too.
Why?
There are 45 lumberjacks that still got to be fed till other arrangements are made. Granny will insist on that, and then...
Then what?
Whatever's got to be unwound among us, it's going to take the three of us to do it.
How much does Ruth's second sight now see of the future? How much can she affect it? And how? Is the shadow of what's to come going to engulf her, or can it be dispersed and blown away? Is the unearthly gift something that can prevail against earthly circumstance? Rock Falls boasts a livery stable, 3 assorted garages, a choice of hotels, no hospital, but a small clinic with 4 beds and a first-rate, if overburdened, general practitioner. It couldn't have mattered less. The most efficient and highly staffed hospital would not have saved Bridget's tired heart. Like a stout old watch, the bearings were worn, the mainspring slackened.
Are you there, Ruth Ann? I'm here, Granny. I'm going away, you know. Oh, no. Yes, I can see it in your eyes, Mavourneen. You know. Promise me something. What? You won't go back to that camp. Granny. Granny, who's to cook for all the men?
Then find another. There ought to be something better in life for you.
I don't know what it should be.
You're telling me that you and Tim...
Granny, me and Tim are a dream of yours. Because you want only the best for me. But even if it could be, you know what lies between us.
The gift.
Or by another name. Curse.
Where is he now?
He's gone back to camp.
And you let him go?
How could I stop him? And I was needed here.
No longer. Now go and follow him.
And leave you here.
My time is used up. Come close.
Granny, I'm never very far away from you.
Soon you will be. Let me say this while I can. Some of us are the lucky ones. I was.
How?
I had the gift as well. Little I wanted it. It was clearer than yours. So I knew just exactly what to expect. I knew your grandfather, like your mother's poor husband, would have gone from me early.
Granny.
Forgive me, child. I was just looking down the long corridor of time that I've left behind. Where was I?
It doesn't matter, Granny.
Oh, yes. Yes, 'twas this. About the gift. It came to me late and left me early. I can wish you only the same. The earlier, the better.
You mean suddenly the second sight stopped? It wasn't there?
That's what I mean. If I still had it, wouldn't I be able to read better for what you're to do?
But how can you know if it's gone?
It's like love. When love comes, you can't mistake it if it's for real. And when the gift goes, you'll know it. Just as sure. I love you, Ruth Ann. My love shall make you free.
Granny? Oh, Granny. What will I ever do without you?
Mes amis, by the old logging roll, this contest is to the finish. By selection of both contestants, there is no weapon but the human hand. First, I ask each if they must fight. Big Red.
No man's gonna make the kind of charges Tim Farrell's been making about me behind my back.
And Tim.
Red Pelly rules this camp and all of you by fear. It's time someone challenged him. I'm doing that.
So you will come on, set the bell. Are you both ready?
Let's get on with it.
Tim.
You heard the man. Let's get it over with.
Thank you. What's going on?
Miss Holmes, where you come from?
The doctor drove me back. Stop this. Stop it.
No. It's old log camp custom. You mean no one can stop it till one man is out cold.
He's too big and strong for Tim.
What I try to say, Miss Ruth, but your Tim feels he must fight.
If you won't stop it, I will.
No.
Because I will it. Like this.
Okay, Tenderfoot. Now I'm gonna stomp the living hell out of you.
I'm not asking no mercy. Come on.
Just try to stop me. Just what?
Here's one last go for luck. What the... Are you going to get up?
I can't.
You quit?
I give up.
Just take it easy. You're all right.
Ruth?
Yes?
Boy, it seems like I've been here before.
Now that Granny's gone and you're okay, I'm going away.
Well, if that's what you want, you've got your own life to live.
My own life.
I ain't got the right to say it, but I was sort of hoping that we'd be sharing it. But I got nothing to offer a woman yet.
We're just not for each other, Tim. Don't you know? I'm a shadow over you. That it's through me that you're risking your life.
Appears to me it's through you it keeps getting saved.
Twice. The legend is the third time round fate has to take its course. There's another crook here now, and I'm not needed. Forget me, Tim. Please, just forget me. Oh, sorry,
Excuse me, Miss Rosie. Hey, how you feel, champ? Huh?
I feel like I got run over by a bulldozer. It'll mend.
Something else won't, huh? In the inside. Why did you make Miss Ruth cry?
It's kind of the other way around, Frenchie. I guess I took a wrong notion. I wanted to marry that girl.
But she does not want to marry you.
That's right.
Did she say why?
I don't know. She got some kind of crazy notion. She's a hex for me.
If she say that, then it is one big shame. She must be bad medicine for you. She knows.
How?
She has le don, the gift. She can read the future.
Oh, come on.
It is true. How do you think that big tree missed you that day? And how you make Big Red cry, Uncle?
The heck with superstition, that's no real problem. What is a problem is that a man needs money to marry. And what do I have to offer? What? Big Red.
I was just dragging what was left of me in here to say you whipped me fair and square and the best man won. You say you're leaving?
I'll be on my way by tonight.
Frenchie, what was that I heard him saying about he wanted to get hold of some money?
The poor devil. He wanted to get married, but he has no stake yet.
So he wants money real bad, huh?
Hey, Big Red. What are you doing so far from camp?
Oh, just stealing me a little breather, Chuck, and having a stroll.
Hefting your axe in your hand?
This here axe ain't mine. Belongs to Tim Farrell.
What you doing with it?
I got a use for it.
I wouldn't figure him to lend you anything of his.
He didn't.
He might get sore and take a notion to whoop up on you again when he finds out.
He's too busy packing up to leave camp.
Leave?
Yeah. Him and Ruth Ann. As soon as you get back with the Jeep. Reckon they think they're going to get spliced.
Well, how about that?
Give me a lift back to camp.
Oh, sure. Hop in.
Got pay money?
Yes, right behind us in the sack.
All done up in them neat little envelopes, huh?
Just like usual.
It'd be a lot of money to steal. And there sure wouldn't be much doubt if a fella got caught quick enough just where it came from.
Huh? What you talking about?
Just keep on driving, Chuck. Only you take the road to the flume at the fork. I got some plans for you.
What are you doing with my gear, Red?
Well, why, I was just going to carry it out to the Jeep for you.
I'll handle it myself. What's the Jeep doing outside there? Where's Chuck?
I reckon he took the payroll over to the straw wash. You drawing yours?
No.
And we'll ride over there and pick it up before I drive you and Ruth Ann down to town.
She's coming with us?
As if you didn't know.
There's something funny going on. This isn't the way to the straw bosses, huh?
Look out in back of you.
What?
Oh! Sure ain't, Mr. Loverboy. The road you're going this time, I'm sure you ain't coming back.
I wonder why Chuck's so late getting back? I'd like to get down the mountain before dark.
He should have been here at least 1 hour ago.
I suppose Tim is going to leave with us.
We have not much transport, Miss Ruth. Why don't you take a chance and stay with him?
You don't understand, Frenchy.
I do, but sometimes le bon Dieu is kind. And I think that Grand-Mère Brigitte would have wanted...
Wait a minute, Frenchy.
What is it?
Oh, I see it now. I see it. Red. He has the payroll in Tim's duffel. He has Tim knocked out and tied up by the fork on the way down the mountain. And Chuck is trussed up just below the big flume where it spills into the catch basin. He'll drive Tim unconscious into the ravine and send Chuck to die, ground up in the logs in the catch basin. It'll look as if Tim killed him for the payroll.
Sacre bleu, he must hurry.
Frenchy, go get the rest of the jacks and save Tim, Frenchy. I'll go get Chuck free.
You crazy Red.
Like a fox, Chuck. Ain't no woman gonna make a sucker out of Red Pelly. She turned me down for Jason. Well, I took care of him. Climb.
Climb? Up to the sluice? Why?
I'm sorry, Chuck, but I gotta set this up just right.
What are you going to do with Tim's axe?
I'm gonna bury it right in your skull, Chuck, so nobody has any doubts as to who...
Oh, no, you're not, Red.
Roseanne, how'd you get up here?
Many's the time as a kid when the logs weren't running, I've shooted down the flume. From the camp right to this station. Oh, I knew I had to move fast to stop you.
You can't. It's too late. I've burned all my bridges behind me. Now, worst of all, it's got to be you, too.
Oh, but you can't touch me, Red. I have the gift.
The gift?
I turned the tree aside to save Tim, and I held you back from stomping him. All with the help of God, and now I'm going to stop you again. Run, Chuck. Run.
But you...
No, he can't touch me.
I'm sorry it has to be this way, Ruth Ann. From the beginning, when you first come, you was all I wanted. But you turned me down.
What are you doing?
I'm going to open a sluice gate. There's 600,000 board feet of logs already on the way down. And we're going with the first that comes. If I can't have you, no one else can.
Hey, you hear me?
I hear you.
You touch Roseanne, I'll kill you.
Ain't none of the three of us going to stay alive. Come on up.
You put down that axe, Red.
Until I take your fight. Oh,
Damn it, Rogue, Frenchy, I've got a squeeze.
Damn your hideouts with your skull.
Watch him. He has your axe.
Hang on, Rose, I've got a peavy pole. All right, Red. You want to give up? Oh, bon Dieu, we have too many. Over the platform, Frenchy, we need Rose.
Hey, damn you. Oh, you fight me.
Let go of the peavy, Tim. He's got you with him.
The logs carried him right down the flume and over and into the catch basin. He was ground to pieces. I'm sure glad you're safe, Annie.
Are you still going?
Well, Red is dead, but nothing between us has changed.
One big thing has.
What?
When I thought I had the power to stop Red, I found I didn't, Tim. I just had to rely on myself and hang on to the axe that he was trying to swing down on you.
Are you telling me?
The gift's gone. I don't have to be afraid anymore. It's a new life.
It sure is.
What did you call me back then?
Annie. That's a new name for a new life. And the one that's going to be my wife's. Come on, Annie Farrell. Kiss me, if you like the name.
Anything you want to give me is just exactly what I like.
Think of all the gifts you personally may have lost in your time, and how much you mourned them. Then think of the dread, oppressive gift that Ruth Ann lost, and celebrate it with her. Sometimes I do have stories to tell you that end with that fond, childish phrase, and so they lived happily ever after. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
The preceding Mystery Theater program was furnished by the CBS Radio Network. This is WOR New York, an RKO General Station.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the exciting world of your own imagination. The lithe body, muscles rippling, seems suspended in air, twisted in its last agony. The goat legs flexed in their last spring. The beautiful boy's face transformed by a snarl of agony as the arrow bites through the back flesh to bury itself deep in the heart. This is a legendary bronze statue called the Dying Faun. Legendary in more ways than one.
Jameson?
Miss Abbott.
Not any longer. This is my husband, David Cadelli.
How do you do, sir?
I've heard so much about you. It's my pleasure, Jameson.
Congratulations, Miss Abbott. I mean, Mrs.
Time for that afterwards. Are the others here?
Mrs. Abbott and Mr. Pierce arrived this afternoon.
Are they with him now?
No, Miss Sarah. Like you, they were too late.
Oh, no. You mean he's dead?
It was to be expected.
When?
The statue started to bleed the night before last.
Our mystery drama, The Bleeding Statue, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Patricia Elliott and Tony Roberts. It is sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division and Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, brewers of Budweiser. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
Give your hand to a friend. Give your heart to your love, But give your allergy to contact.
Allergy is our business, too. We know pollen. And we know that any of the 12,000 quarts of air you breathe each day may contain enough pollen to make your eyes itch, make you sneeze, and drip. We also know an ingredient that helps block pollen's bad effects. It's the antihistamine most prescribed by allergy specialists. It's an ingredient in contact.
Give your hand to a friend. Give your heart to your love,
The tiny time pills in one contact keep this antihistamine working up to 12 full hours. All day, all night.
Give your allergy to contact.
Take contact only when needed, only as directed.
If you love spaghetti like I love spaghetti, I know what you're looking for. So come on, get ready for great spaghetti at the spaghetti store. If you want spaghetti, the best spaghetti, you don't have to look no more. Get your taste buds ready for great spaghetti at the spaghetti store.
Here's a riddle for you. What has 6 different kinds of spaghetti? Chicken, mushroom, meat sauce, shrimp, meatballs, or a combination of any of the above?
Oh, that's easy.
And dinner prices from $2.10 to $2.85.
Still easy.
And additional selection from ravioli to steak.
That's not a riddle, that's a cross-examination.
Come on, what's the answer?
The spaghetti store. Now, here's one for you. What has blue eyes and a craving for spaghetti?
Paul Newman's stomach.
No, me, meatball.
When you come in, bring your appetite. There's one thing you know for sure. Great spaghetti we've got, and it don't cost a lot at the spaghetti store.
9731 West Northwest Highway. Also Arlington and Fort Worth.
What is more mystical than a statue? The wounded fawn. No one is sure that it was not originally chiseled in marble, that the bronze we know today was not taken from a long-lost original. Where it comes from, no one knows. Where it was perhaps best known to the public at large was in its last appearance, or disappearance, on the stage of the Palace Theater as the climax of the farewell tour of Prior Abbott, the Merlin of the magicians.
Thank you. And now, if you ladies and gentlemen will permit, my greatest illusion, the death of the wounded fawn. Part the curtains, please. There he is for the last time on any stage. I beg your pardon, dear audience, the second last time. For if I'm to make him disappear, I would have to make him reappear, and both in front of your very eyes. Observe the dying fawn. 1,440 pounds of cast bronze. I invite any member of the audience who questions this assessment of weight to join me on the stage. I only wish to know that all of you are ready to believe that this statue does have a life and volition of its own, for it is about to disappear before your very eyes. Concentrate, observe, be aware, and beware.
That was back in 1936, David.
15 years before I was born. 18 for you. How do you know about that final performance? You weren't there.
Neither was my mother. She was about 5 then.
Strange.
What?
I can't connect your grandfather. Now, what do I call him? Not what you do.
The wizard.
It's kind of corny.
Not for me. It was my mother's second marriage. I was 5 years old. Mother was about 28. He was 57. Much as I loved him and as full of life as he was, I never could call him Dad, and Grandpa would have been an insult. So, because of all the marvelous tricks he did, he became the wizard. Oh, David, you never saw anyone so young as the wizard, in body as well as in mind. That's why I can't believe...
Easy does it, baby. You've done your crying for him.
Oh, it's awful to think of him lying in that coffin, dead. I can't believe it isn't just another illusion, and when we go down to dinner that he won't have escaped like Houdini and be sitting waiting for us with a big smile.
I'm afraid even the wizard can't spring himself loose from this one. Oh, I'd better get my best bib and tie on to greet your relatives.
I wouldn't worry about them.
Well, I don't want to make too bad an impression. Your stepbrother's a pretty important man in my life.
Because he's president of Abbott's Tool and Machine. Oh, Pierce is just a figurehead. Now, there's only one man who could...
Come on now, Sarah.
I just can't believe he's dead. He was... Oh, David, you just had to have known him to understand. He was indestructible.
Darling, he was going on 76.
But he didn't look or act more than 50.
Well, you hadn't seen him in more than 2 years.
Yes, you're right, of course, but even then, even with a heart attack and my mother dying...
You don't have to tell me, Sarah. God knows he was a giant to me. But not as a magician, as an industrialist, an inventor, an innovator. I never knew all that came from being a... Well, it sounds crazy to put it this way, but a plain magician.
Oh, he was no plain magician. I've seen blueprints of some of his illusions, and they're more complicated than splitting the atom.
Hey, it's almost 7:30. Now, look, I've got to have at least a clean shirt.
Yes?
Excuse me, madam, but dinner will be served in half an hour.
We'll be right down, Jamie. He's always so formal.
Well, he kind of gives me the shivers. What was that bit about the statue starting to bleed?
Oh, that's a silly old legend.
You want to tell your silly young husband what?
But I think the wizard probably made it up for the act.
Well, I'm persistent if nothing else. Made up what?
Well, it's a very old statue, you know. Quite priceless.
Well, since it happens to be my hobby, I know as much about it as you. It's either fired from a mold of a Greek original in marble, or else it was commissioned by Cosimo de' Medici in the early 1600s and is possibly by Benvenuto Cellini himself. Right?
Right.
But impossible to authenticate?
That's right. But it did belong at one time or another to the de' Medicis and to some later kings of France, they say.
Whoever they are. And what exactly do they say?
That whenever the head of a household to whom it belongs is marked for death, the statue starts to bleed. I don't want to be late for dinner.
No, we won't be. I just had to see this fabulous statue.
Well, there he is.
Wow. What a setting. He's magnificent, whoever the sculptor was.
He's sad. Poor wounded god.
God?
Come closer. Look at him. He's not just a faun. He has to be Pan himself.
Without the horns.
Ageless, deathless. The spirit of youth and life. Just like the wizard. I never thought he could really die.
Hush, hush, baby. It's the only thing none of us can sidestep. Hey, where's this blood supposed to come from?
From the air wound, of course.
Right here? It's between the shoulders?
Oh, I suppose. I've never seen it. It's just a story, David. What is it?
It's nothing.
Let me see your hand. You touched the statue.
Look, it's just rust, darling, that's all.
Bronze doesn't rust, David. That's blood.
Are you sure this is sherry, Pierce?
As advertised, and as always, nothing but the best.
It doesn't taste right somehow.
I doubt if anything will until we all find out just where we stand.
It's upsetting that he died so suddenly and unexpectedly. You don't suppose he could have left everything to Sarah? He couldn't do that to us.
Suppose he has.
I'll fight it tooth and nail. I'm his daughter.
Daughter-in-law, to be exact. I'm the last best hope. At least my father, your husband, was his son.
I hope he's recognized that in the will. And how do we handle this new husband Sarah has sprung upon us?
I've no idea. It's too bad the wizard didn't know about him before he kicked off. I doubt if he'd have reacted too well to some European opportunist who wanted to pick up a nice American girl with a lot of money in the family.
Well, he isn't here to react. It's up to us.
Pardon me, madam.
Yes, Jefferson, what is it?
Mr. and Mrs. Covelli have returned from the garden. Dinner is